Our next speaker, like I said, is someone that I've known for a while, very, very spiritual, very, 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 very much connected to the divine, a minister that is ministering all the time, whether she's, in church or whether she's in the street, she's ministering. She really is. Her name is Tynya Beverly. And Tynya Beverly is a passionate, transformational community leader and spiritual practitioner in both community well-being and corporate settings. She's the project director for the Sacramento County African American Suicide Prevention Project and a compassion ambassador for Compassionate Sacramento. She is the co-founder of Wisdom Works, a women's empowerment group producing the Women of Spirit Rising Retreats, and the executive producer of Real Cream Cafe, a social justice theater company. She is currently a community chaplain with the Law Enforcement Chaplaincy of Sacramento. She recently retired from being Employment Development Department's Chief Learning Officer with the state of California and socialized in organizational development. Her specialties include executive coaching, strategic and workforce planning, conflict resolution and mediation, diversity training, and leadership development. Wow.
Yeah.
Her soul talk is titled, "We Are More Than Our Story." Please put your hands together and welcome to Sac Soul Talks, Tynya Beverly.
Thank you for that warm welcome. I've been sitting in the back of the room and, seeing the backs of your heads, and this is such a magnificent view. You look absolutely wonderful. And so when I was asked to come and present, the framework was, I am ready for 2020. And I had to sit with that for a little bit. It kind of caught me off guard because I've been so busy this year. And so, am I ready? But then when you followed it up with, tell the story of you, who you are, and how you're going to show up, I got that. And so we are more than our stories. And as a chaplain and a spiritual practitioner, I often coach people that are stuck in their stories, that don't want to move beyond the story. Now, I'm the first one to tell you, if the story is doing something for you, stick with it. But if it's no longer adding value to your life, it's time to rewrite the script. And you are empowered to do that. And so I will share a little bit about my story and weave it in with some poetic expression, all right? And sparks of divine wisdom. That's what I call it. So yes, we are more than our stories, and I thank the Creator that I'm more than my story, and that I don't have to be permanently defined by my experiences, because sometimes we think we are. That I am this, I am that, but you're so much more than that. And so I know I'm showing up in 2020. I'm showing up boldly, and I'm stepping out in 2020. How about you? Do you have a story? Yeah, I suspect you do. And you probably have some stories of transformation, things that have expanded you. Would you agree? Absolutely. And if you live long enough, we all have stories. And it's called wisdom. My mom used to always say, we all have a book in us. What's your book? Right? And so it's not the story or the experiences that matter. What does matter, were you changed by your story? Did it expand you? Are you walking on this plane in a different light because of your stories? Then you've been transformed by these stories. So give credit to them. Instead of looking at them as and negating the past, validate and gratitude and blessings along the way. So what is transformation? Transformation is the act or the process or instance of transforming or being transformed. Being transformed. The process of profound and radical change, new direction. This is not, you know how when folks say, oh, I turned my life around. I'm not talking about turning your life around. That implies incremental progress on the same plane. What I'm talking about is the kind of transformation that what went in surely did not come out. That it looks completely different than it was when you started. You get where I'm going with this? Change of character. It no longer resembles the current configuration or structure. That's what I'm talking about, transformation. Those life changes. When you come through them, that you are changed, that you are different. And the one thing that I know is that with my understanding of transformation, the one thing that has probably brought me this far is that my understanding is that there is a universal presence that is available to all of us. And we call it by many different names. And it doesn't matter what you call it, as long as you call it. And what I've learned is that I can't separate myself from it. I can't cut it off. I can't wish it away. That no human experience that I can have can ever change that, can get in between that. You see how powerful that is? So no human experience can separate you from the love of the Creator. That universal understanding. Nothing can separate you. No life experience. And so if you don't walk away with anything else but that little pearl, allow that to move you through your life. We're not stuck there, okay? And so I'm not sure with you, but my story has a whole bunch of highs and lows and twists and turns and unexpectancy. But it's in those moments of unexpectancy where I've had my most profound learning. In those moments where it wasn't planned, and Spirit tapped me on the shoulder and said, this is yours to do. This is yours to do. This is your walk. Those are the moments, the transformative moments that I'm talking about. People think that I'm so easygoing and I'm calm, and they go, well, she's Mother Earth. She's so balanced. Now I am, absolutely. Absolutely. I had to go through a few things to get here. But I'll tell you a little bit about my story. My story actually starts in 1959 at the famous General Hospital in Southern California. That's where I was born, absolutely. And when I came home from the hospital, I came home to the Jordan Down Projects, which is in Watts, California. And I primarily grew up in South Central Los Angeles. So my view of South Central Los Angeles may be very different than your view of what you hear on TV or what you hear through others. Because the community I grew up in is that everybody took care of everyone. I couldn't walk down the street without Mrs. So-and-so telling my mama about something that I did up the street. I had a bunch of mothers and uncles in the community, hardworking people. But what gets highlighted in South Central Los Angeles is the violence. But there's a microcosm of violence everywhere. But in that particular area, it's highlighted more than the successes and what people really do in that community. And I share that because I'm proud. I don't shy away from South Central Los Angeles because South Central Los Angeles is a product of who I am today, what you see before you. And so I grew up in a musical home. My dad sang with the world-famous Coasters. You know the group. Take out the papers and the trash. Yeah. That's my dad. That's my dad. And we used to have jam sessions at our house, like Little Anthony and the Imperials, the Marvelettes, Big Joe Turner, and some of the guys from the Drifters and the Platters would stop by. I didn't know at the time who these folks were until later on in life. But what I know is in that whole experience was a lot of connection and a lot of love. A lot of love. And so we may not always have been in the best position financially, And the reason I say that is because there was a lot of abuse in the record industry in the 50s, the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And my dad got caught up in that. So even if you had a contract, often the contract was not honored, or you didn't get paid, or the manager ran off with the money, and my dad's catalog of 32 songs was stolen and taken overseas. And so we try to get a lawyer, and we try to get someone to help us with it, but when it's overseas, you gotta have a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of energy. And so with that, we realized that there are no guarantees. So we just released it and let it go. And so in my mind, with all of this, I was still rich. I was rich in relationships with a lot of love. And so I survived a lot of things. But when you look at me, you never know. I survived the Watts Riots. I grew up in the community where I would see the National Guard going down the middle of the street in our community. The civil unrest, Rodney King, I remember watching TV going, where is that happening? And it was right up the street. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. The drive-by shootings, the rock cocaine era, and the gang violence in Los Angeles. Survived it all. Survived it all. In the middle of all this stuff was my mom. An amazing, powerful woman who was surely ahead of her time. And she would always tell us, you know, you can live in the neighborhood and not be the neighborhood.
That's right.
Up in here, we value education. So it could be all kind of stuff going on outside the door, but in our home, you see, my mother was my first metaphysician. Because what we would do, you know, our pastime was to do speeches. All 4 of her kids, and we would do things. She would have a topic like, I am somebody. And you would have to talk about, why do you think you're someone, little girl? How are you going to show up in the world? And so all of my brothers and sisters are public speakers because of what my mom did in the middle of South Central Los Angeles, okay? So I grew up with mantras like that. And so with that, I believe that hope is the foundation to pulling yourself out of something. And I wrote this piece, it's called, Hope is Everything When It's All You Have. H is for the headway I make when I get out of the way, allowing me to get back on track when I stray. O is for the opportunities I can capitalize on when I free up my mind and unlocking limitations that take my joy and leave me behind. P is for all the possibilities I see when I look in the mirror. Staying in touch with my higher power helps me see clearer. E is for everything that I have at my fingertips. If I choose it, I can have anything I want if I commence. So do you have hope today? Hope is what gets you up in the morning and starts you on your way, and you pick the attitude that you display that day. Hope can put you out of depression and despair, you know, when you just don't care. You need hope when you can't pay your bills and when everything feels like it's going uphill. God is where you are. Take time, be still, chill, and refill. You have to choose hope or you lose it. Hope never leaves you, but we turn a blind eye to it. So don't quit, commit. Nothing can stop you from stressing but addressing how you're messing, why you're obsessing. Stop guessing. It's your time for your blessing. So look in the mirror. Who do you see? Are you pleased? And if not, you need to change it indeed. Go to that place of healing and dealing and turning that corner and dealing with your feelings. You can't control people, but you can control you. You're the only one who can change your attitude. So where's the gratitude? Where's the gratitude? So if I want to live my life beyond my wildest dreams, it would seem that I need to change my theme, join a winning team that is supreme, and start pumping up my self-esteem. But there's some things before I let it go. I must do something for me. Get rid of debris, stop screaming like a banshee, get down on my knees and pray to thee. Be my own MC. Don't you agree? So if you're fretting about debt, upset about threat, scared of your silhouette, don't forget there are no regrets. Bust a sweat, do a duet, place a bet. Don't you dare let, because the goddess is not finished with you yet. Hope is everything when it's all you have. So I'm taking hope into 2020. Today, I'm more steadfast than ever that human beings are heading towards greatness. Regardless of what I see or what I hear in the world today, there is a clearing that is taking place in the world at this time. It is being uprooted. Everything that was festering below is being, agree? Right? As ugly as it is, I'm just in joy going, yes, yes, because it's no longer underground. When we can see it, we can do something about it. Clearing away all the ugly race consciousness stuff. There is a heightened sense of awareness. This clearing is creating an opening for healing. Healing the festering covert areas of race consciousness. Healing is taking place. No separation. We are connected. I see it, I feel it, and I believe it. So my spiritual journey has been amazing. I have been blessed with a very diverse spiritual journey. My early days were Catholic because my mom was Catholic. But by the time I was a teenager, I attended the African Methodist Episcopal Church. AME. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And so it was during that experience I began to ask questions about Jesus that no one could answer. I said, well, if God is in me, why do I have to go through Jesus to get to the God that's already in me? And they would say, because it's in the Bible. Because God says so. No one wanted to respond to my questions. And I got to a point where I no longer wanted to go to church because in my early 20s, I began to explore my sexual orientation and identity. And in this process, church no longer fit because I wasn't heterosexual. And because I wasn't heterosexual, it was hell and damnation, all of that stuff. But I found a place of liberation. It was called Unity Fellowship Church. Bishop Carl Bean. I'll never forget this man. In the 80s, during the AIDS crisis, I was very involved in the community, and I had many friends that passed away from the virus. And I met this man at a graveside memorial for one of my friends. And what he said at that service, he says, I'll be damned if another one young person died by themselves. Because no one wanted to be near people that had AIDS. No one wanted to take care of them. And he said, oh no. I refuse. I don't care how many funerals I have to preach. They're going to know that they were not alone and that their journey was not in vain. And so that man taught me liberation theology, and he saved my soul. At least that's what I believed back then. He taught me how to, those Bible verses that they were going to beat me up in the community and tell me I was separating from God. He taught me how to, let's take the entire chapter. Let's start from verse 1. Oh, that one's you. This one 3 might be me, but 4, 5, and 6 is you. There was a freedom that came with that. And then I found this magically place that just kind of popped up in the community like utopia. This place was called Agape. Now, I attended Agape back in 1987 when Dr. Michael Beckwith wasn't Dr. Michael Beckwith. Okay, he was Michael Beckwith, practitioner, going to ministerial school. And he had 30 people. 30 people. And you know what Agape is today. And so with that, I found out my journey at Agape is that my soul didn't need saving. I didn't need to be saved, that I was okay. I was perfect and complete right now. In this moment, nothing needed to be saved. And so I was evolving in my spirituality. And so my job, when it relocated to Sacramento, I was so thirsty for spiritual connection. I wound up going to East Bay Church of Religious Science with Reverend E, and I immersed myself in training. But then I found out that Sacramento Church of Religious Science, it is here and functioning. And that's where I met Reverend Georgia in 1999, where we were church in a box. And we would roll out on Sunday, pack it up, and do it. So I was searching for something. I went everywhere searching for it. I was at Unity. I went to the gay church, Metropolitan Community Church. I followed voodoo and hoodoo for a bit. And I found the basic principles to be still in alignment with God is all there is. I even practiced the orishas, becoming a priestess. I practiced the African sacred way of the Egyptian Kemetic people, and even earth-based tradition in Wiccan. And so all of this stuff going all over the world, searching for gurus, paying big money for VIP sessions to meet the guru. And then one day I got it. That what I was looking for was in me. It was already here. I was it was me, we are one. And it was in that process, I went back to school and I said, okay, now I'm focused on what I want to do. Went to ministerial school, I became a chaplain. And so in that experience, I find myself in a place of being able to share liberation theology to people. Because it starts and stops right here with my thinking, okay? And so with my issue of coming out, there were a lot of people, including family members, that had issues with my gayness, okay? So I wrote this piece. I am God. I am gay. God made me this way. I am gay and God made me this way. I used to be afraid of what people would say, if they would sway, stay, or run away. I am gay. I am a spiritual being. I'm not obscene or something. I'm a human being. They tell me that it's just a phase and that I'm caught up in a craze and that it would be over soon, stated with doom and gloom. I'm done. I'm done with repressing who I am, hiding my light, because I no longer give a damn. What you think no longer matters to me. I can coexist with you, but can you coexist with me? You say you love me, but you don't know me. You want me to hide and keep my gayness inside? Well, let me tell you something, darling. I can march in pride on Saturday, go to Faces on Saturday night, go to church and praise the Lord with family and friends on Sunday morning, and have a sweet Sunday dinner with my lovely wife. Amen? You say that I'm different and you don't understand my lifestyle. Let me get this right. You were uncomfortable with me, but I'm hostile. I thank the Creator for making me this way. She, the goddess, made me perfect in every way. So just as I am today, thank God for diversity. Diversity is a mosaic, is a rainbow of all that is. Diversity is the spectrum of the universe and everything in it. Diversity is amazing and beautiful in all its splendor. Diversity knows no limit. It is limitless. Diversity is valuing all Dorothy's children under the rainbow. So today I stand and say that I am proud to be gay and that I would have it no other way. And my hope is that folks will begin to see that the reason I'm gay is because God made me this way.
All right.
So I've learned that true love is unconditional, and my gayness is not a reflection on anybody but me. So I'm stepping into 2020 as a role model for those trying to find their way, and as a woman who is grounded and free, as a woman who loves women. I wrote this next piece to remind us that no matter your lifestyle, you are magnificent. So what does magnificent mean? Magnificent means majestic, superb, brilliant, radiant, splendid, noble, outstanding, the highest degree of excellence, exalted and grand. That is who we are. I hope you understand. Each and every one of you is magnificent with the blessing of God's grace. Did you know that God's got your feet while you run this race? Be free and let your magnificence unfold and be bold and let your light shine. It's about time. Don't be blind. I sing a song of jubilation because I'm free. The majesty of the goddess is upon me. So I have the power. You have the power. We all have the power. You don't have to wait for it. It's available at any given hour. And so I walk into this knowing that magnificent is splendid and noble and outstanding, that we can smile and rejoice that we are a part of a magnificent squad. We walk in a mighty light. We walk in the light of God. So I'm bringing my spiritual awareness into 2020 with me. I'm packing it in a bag, and I'm letting folks know that they are free, that you were liberated from your thinking. You are free. No more limitations, no more lack, no more doubt, regardless of your human condition. The only person that can surrender to that is you. So if you want to give your power over, have at it. But take it back. 2020, take it back and stand on it and know that there's a newfound freedom with your thinking. And so with that, I know that today, whatever hurts my brothers and sisters hurts me, and vice versa. If there's harm going on anywhere in the world, I'm impacted by that because we are one. There is no separation. And I'm grounded in that truth, knowing that there's only one power, one presence, and that there are many ways to get there. How beautiful that is. The freedom to choose the path that is right for you. So as a deserologist, and a deserologist is one who prepares decedents for the burial process. And in my role as a community chaplain, I have learned death waits for no one. No one. None of us are immune, and we all have to take this walk. And so with that, what are you doing with your life? I hear so many regrets after someone has passed away, and I'm arranging the service, and they're telling me, I wish I coulda, I shoulda, and we spend so much energy in that we don't spend enough time loving the person. So our stories get in between us and block us and stop us. And I tell people all the time is that if you're happy with your memories, if something happens to your beloved tomorrow, are you okay? Because if you're not okay, it's time to go and clean that up. Because let me try to tell you, the person who's gone is not going to be doing the suffering. You, the one left behind. Trust me, because they come and see me. And they're stuck in that place. And so what you see today in this physical package, yes, has been impacted by my stories. My career in state government, I am 60 years old and boldly standing in 60. Feels good to be 60. Because when I look back on the journey, I know that you wouldn't see this right here if it wasn't for that journey. And so people asked me when I retired, they said, why are you retiring so early? I said, after 30 years, this part of my life is complete. And I'm ready for the next season where I pick and I choose what I want to do. As much as I want to do, I say, that no longer works for me anymore. I think I want to do something different today. And so with that, my life has been so enriched by people, by the community. People come to me with projects. The African American Suicide Prevention Project was brought to me. And I said, okay, well, I can do this part-time work, right? Well, little did I know that my chaplain work, my organizational development work, my HR background in developing staff, my outreach in the community, my social justice, all came together in one place with this project. To be in the community and talk to someone and say, tell me what you know about suicide. Well, I tried to commit suicide. Talking to a 15-year-old child, my dad committed suicide last year. Everyone has a story. And so my life has been changed profoundly. And the reason it has, because I was open and willing to be in service. To be in service. And I am receiving the blessing. And so with that, I know that my life is unfolding in amazing ways. I can't wait. I'm going to Mexico for 6 weeks in February and March, and I sell property down there. And what I have learned being in Mexico, there's another me. There's another piece of me in this Mexico experience. And all the stuff that you hear about on television, oh my gosh. We go across the border, and the first thing we see is Costco. Next thing I see is Ross stores. I see every major American company is there. And so I'm looking forward to what this next expression is going to be for me. And so I'm going to leave you with this last piece. And this last piece kind of pulls it all together. And it's called, I stand correct. I stand correct. I stand correct with my identity. I know where I come from. I understand the experiences of my people, and I stand on their shoulders, and I feel their strength. It is their strength that moves me through life, and I know my history, you see, and I got my facts straight as of late, and I no longer wait for someone to tell me who I am. I have all the answers right here inside of me. Wow, what power I have. I am a queen, and the universe is at my fingertips. I stand correct with my identity. I stand correct with my blackness. I stand correct with my skin color, knowing that this sweet golden tone is a piece of who I am. I am the color of gold and honey that has been sweetened to perfection by the sun. That's me, Miss Honey, sweet in love and sweet in understanding. I embrace my blackness through my consciousness, through my understanding of truth. I stand correct in my blackness. I stand correct with my full-figuredness. I am a voluptuous, full-figured sister that moves with the quickest of ease, and I move in and out of a full conscious existence about my body. I shine my fullness wherever I go, and I insist that you recognize it as well. And if you don't, you can't possibly get to know me. I am a big, beautiful, full-body sister who loves the world, and I wear my happiness in full view, V-I-E-W, baby, for you to see. And I stand correct with my full-figuredness. I stand correct with my age. I stand correct with my pearls of wisdom, my experience bank account, and battle wounds from a long journey. I stand correct on this wealth of knowledge. And in this understanding of my journey, it is where I need to be. I stand correct in knowing the truth about me, and in the process, I live my correctness through my actions. I stand correct in my spiritual understanding, knowing in my heart and soul that God is simply all there is. So I no longer look outside myself for it. If I want the Creator to hear me, I pray, and I take time to speak the truth. If I want the Creator to speak to me, I meditate, and I take time to listen. And if I get off my path, I affirm the truth through mantras. And so never, ever forget, if you change your thinking, I dare you not to change your life. You are enough. Every bit of you is enough. You have the divine spark within you to create your best life. And trust me, there are no limits unless you put those limits on yourself. And so I'll end with these words, my favorite poet, Kirk Nugent. He says, declare today that you refuse to lose, because you can either live your dreams or you can live your excuse. So even when I'm old and gray, I still be commanding the stage. Words will be smoking off the page. So understand, this ain't no phase. Because every day I learn a new lesson. My best poem has yet to be written. And I'm not leaving until what I came to give has been given. 99 on the mic, and I still be spitting, still be ripping, still be giving, still be driven. So let my tombstone read, here lies Tynya Beverly, and she died living.
That's right.